Welcome to Euphoria. This is season 8, episode 6. There's a fly on the set. We've got a special guest today. I'm your host, Daniel Drakos. Joining me tonight is my duo partner and the guy who I regularly int in all video games, but most recently Risk of Rain, Halo, Valorant, League of Legends. It's Mark Lamont.
That's right.
You know it, baby. Running it down just for you. Our special guest for this episode, someone else, but who has been inted by Mark Lamont many times and is one half of the only LPL bot lane in the LEC. It's none other than Upset.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome, Upset. Strong. You guys have a lot of history together. Before we talk about Tark, geez, wow, it's gonna be a long podcast. It's gonna be a
I knew this.
It's gonna be a day. This is our Monday, for the record, for most of us.
It's Tuesday,
and it is a Tuesday. Yes.
When we scrim on Monday, they are always in I phrased the term sloppy Joe Mondays. So when we're late on Monday, we start inting the first game. Like everyone is just not even awake. Sloppy Joe Monday.
This is
where we end.
This is our sloppy.
You guys
Joe
shouldn't book us on Mondays.
It's rough. Oh my God, sloppy Joe Mondays is a gift. What is your guys' actual gaming history together? Like, how far back does it go? How close? We've actually just invited all of your former teammates. I realize more and more our guest strategy is just invite people who can say nice things about Caedrel.
But I don't know if he's gonna say nice things.
Yeah, like what have you got for me? What was the playing with Caedrel as a pro gamer experience like?
I mean, I think he's a really nice guy.
Oh, that's the classic!
There it is. Cut it.
Oh.
Twitter done.
But I mean, he was not so boosted, but it was kind of serious. I did think I played it a bit better than him, but
sorry, what?
but that's not so important. We promoted to LEC.
Yeah.
We promoted Schalke so they can make some money now selling the spot.
Yep.
We made them.
We made them. Caedrel sadly left the team, let's say, after we promoted.
Kicked me.
But no, we and then he road swapped after the Malza. So
Yeah, that's the trajectory.
but after this, your career went great, right? You made play. Yeah. But you're a great customer.
Oh, thanks,
There
man.
you go.
Thanks.
There's the
adjective.
My favorite memory is with playing with Caedrel. He was playing Corky and he was super fat.
Yeah.
And my top laner was yelling at him, auto attack. And I started joining in like, dude, just auto. And both of us just in the same game just telling him to auto. That was fun.
I don't remember that.
You
I have
blocked it out.
I have a lot of random memories. I think Schalke, that team that we had was Smitty, Memento, me, Upset, and Norske and Torre now. That was one of the funniest teams I think I've ever been on.
For sure. We had so much fun.
There was times where we accidentally locked ourselves out of apartments and we had to build with literally boxes up to a second floor apartment, and
that was great, actually.
Upset literally climbed up our budget ladder of boxes with Smitty like helping him, and then he had to crawl through our own window and break in on the middle of a highway. Everyone just looking at us with their cars.
Like 2 a.m. we came home from playing Schalke at the arena and stuff. Yeah.
It was an eventful team.
I'm glad you're alive. That's like one of those there's so many esports stories where I like look back and I'm like, how did you survive?
I'm glad no one
night?
called the police or something, because it literally looked like we had like 5 guys just
but
breaking
honestly,
in.
I know Schalke t-shirts.
You just look like football hooligans.
Oh my God.
I would normally say like, oh well, you guys probably have some proof that you live there, but of course you're esports players, so
no one had a key.
you had a wallet and a phone and probably nothing else on your person.
Yeah, and then we went from Gelsenkirchen, which is in the far west of west of Germany, and then we had to take a train for like 8 hours to come play. And we took a train to the studio to play one best of 5, went back, came back like 3 times. I think we played, I don't know, we went to 5 games quite a few times, so we played like
we played
18
playoffs 2 times, I think.
Yeah, we played against Red Bull, who had a team with like Hylissang.
Oh yeah, the Hylissang team, I remember that. Yeah,
and Giants, Mysterious Monkeys, and
NIP. We played 4 best of 5s in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, we played like 20 games, and regular season was like 10 games, I think. So
I mean, regular season is still 18 games now. That's like, ugh.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was fun though.
It was.
I think Challenger Series back then was pretty like not stacked, but it was a lot of good players in the Challenger Series.
I actually miss Challenger Series a lot, because the teams were built to actually win instead of developing talent, and both is important. But I feel like in this environment, when something is really on the line, people pay much more attention to really get like good players and try to make it to LEC.
And if you think about it, the Challenger Series from a brand's perspective, was pretty stacked. You had PSG in that league. You had Schalke. You had Red Bull, Giants,
NIP
Ninjas
too,
in
I
Pajamas.
think at some point.
There was a lot of like big organization names in Challenger Series trying to push their way into the LCS.
Yeah, and I think obviously you get a taste of that kind of when we get to EU Masters, but obviously it's very different when talent is so very spread out, right? There's always going to be one or two teams in every one of the regional leagues, and in the LFL is obviously pretty stacked. But at the end of the day, like still like K Corp that's monstering that league, right? And so you're not going to get to see the K Corp versus another team that's going to be competitive with them unless someone from the LFL steps up until we get to EU Masters. And that was the nice thing about Challenger. That said,
and to be fair, if you're good at EU Masters, usually you're like, oh, to get into LEC now.
Yeah, true.
But before, like, it was like you make your own team and you
go
through Challenger Series into LCS.
Yeah.
It's like
that was the good old days where you could just literally make a team, play the open qualifiers, qualify Challenger Series as 5 players, and then go straight to the LCS if you're good enough, which is like that's a different way of getting into the LCS than just being picked up, which is like a self-fulfilling achievement way, it's like, damn, I did it.
No, this is still one of my favorite memories for sure, like actually promoting to LEC with my team, knowing that my whole team will be gone and I make a good team.
Just kicked us all. Everyone was kicked apart from upset.
No, I'm joking.
I look forward to that moment where I just got to throw you off a cliff. I mean, I can see it. Like, look, I think that is something that's hard to replicate, especially without relegation. And I understand like the franchise model, and I appreciate it. And I think we've got, we're fortunate to have a lot of good partners in the league. But I do miss bottom games meaning something. You know what I mean? Because like when 9th plays 10th at the end of summer, we're like, here we are in the draft, wondering who's going to pick Shaco Bot. You know what I mean? Like that's our question. Like, are they actually going to take the game seriously?
You want to have like a relegation bracket.
Yeah. Like the pressure, the fact that it means something to both get out at the top and get in at the highest seed, but also the fear of falling too far down. The fact that there are stakes on both ends of the standings is cool, and that is definitely kind of the loss of relegation. But we get a new team next year. Schalke football team struggled, and now Schalke esports team gone. So we'll see how BDS does. That said, bring it back to last week. It feels so far away now after what was the crazy Euro weekend. But I want to start by talking about G2. We definitely are going to talk a bunch about Fnatic, but I want to wait. I want to save your deep team insight upset. So let's talk a little bit about G2. This is a team that obviously... Before this week, they had the Misfits loss where they looked like they were winning 90% of the game and lost to Elder Dragon, but then looked significantly better this week. Now, one of those games was versus Stralis, and that was the less convincing of their two games. The other one was the road game where they absolutely obliterated. And Caedrel and I have gone back and forth a lot on what is going on with G2, the ups and downs, but I'd love to get your take on what you've seen this season behind the scenes on stage. Like, what did you think what are your thoughts of G2 this season?
It's definitely a really different team from when I remember scrimming them in 2019, for example, when they were super dominant, or even last year. I felt like in practice they were a lot stronger, but I haven't scrimmed them in a while, so I'm not sure where they're at right now. But looking at the official games, I actually think they are playing, especially last week, pretty well. I think their early game, I think their individual laning has not been super impressive, but actually how they play with support jungle has been, I've seen like pretty big improvements, and I actually think they're like pretty good now. I still think there are some maybe champion preferences that you can abuse, or in general, it's not like the OG2 where you think like Caps Wunder, they will just destroy the lane because they are just much better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel a little bit more like close to the other teams. Like I wouldn't be like particularly scared to play against them, but I do think they have improved quite a lot, and mainly it's probably because Caps is bald now. So I think with the hair gone, they look a lot scarier.
What's your favorite bald Caps meme? Like, do you like the Saitama, the One Punch Man guy? Do you like there's the Krillin meme, there's the Avatar, like Megamind.
I like
Dr.
Avatar
Evil,
one.
The Avatar one.
Yeah.
Avatar, okay. Just
They
to
call the
clarify.
powers in different places: earth, fire, water, air, to become the last.
He just has to pick Kiana now, actually.
Yes, pick Kiana.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he actually, if he picks Kiana, that's the only
And then
thing we
the
talk
world skin
about.
will be bald Kiana with the arrow.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That's
G2 Kiana,
genius.
bold,
Bald G2 Kiana.
with the avatar arrow.
No, but to come back to the G2 thing, I think they actually...
he's bringing us back on topic.
He's better already. He's doing it. Why are we even here? We can't even bring it back on topic.
Let him solo it.
I wasn't sure how long we're going to go into this. But I think they're actually pretty good. I think the Misfits game was just really unlucky. Like, we also gave up Elder Drake to see how it feels. Doesn't feel good. At least we didn't fight after, but...
you just tested the limits of the Elder Drake real quick.
Yeah, I mean, there was some... I thought my commit... I mean, whatever. It is what it is. We lost Elder Drake.
Do you think that when you said G2 2019 was like unbeatable in a sense in Scrim, just like they're a lot different, do you think actually you've gotten better as a team? Like your team, the league itself, gotten better?
And they weren't unbeatable. I thought me and Igna were always doing like decent against the bot lane, but it was just what I termed 3 fakers topside.
The 3 faker topsides.
Yeah. The game's just unplayable no matter what happens bot, because there's 3 fakers on topside, and it doesn't feel like they have 3 fakers right now.
Okay.
But they are still very good, of course. But I think a lot of topsides. Maybe the league has just improved.
Mm-hmm.
I think the gap between them just closed a lot. But I still think they're like top talent in Europe. So I think they're very good. But it's not like I'm particularly scared to play against them, like I said.
Yeah. Do you think that this is going to be a slow maybe climb back to the top for G2? I think a lot of people now, if they see them winning again, are kind of just expecting them to go back to being a top 2, top 3 team in the league? Or do you think that that people should still estimate them as, they're going to playoffs for sure, they're a solid team, but people shouldn't just assume that they're going to be back on top as soon as they start performing again?
To me, Europe, the top 4, which is Rogue, us, Mad, and G2, I could see anyone winning the split, to be honest. I think there's outliers like Misfits and Wit or Excel, let's say. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to win the split, but the top 4, it's really hard to pick one. I mean, of course, I hope that we are going to be the one team, but I think all of these teams have huge upsides, and if the meta fits them right and they get into the right groove when playoffs hits, I think anyone can take it, to be honest. So pretty exciting.
It is exciting. It's nice, and it's also terrible for predictions, because that means who the hell do I actually predict? Who do I actually like put faith in?
Yeah.
I can dig your scrims.
Ooh, okay.
I tell you who to pick.
All right, after this,
don't make it public.
Okay, I won't. Okay, all right.
Scrims can be fake data though.
Scrims are always fake data.
Yeah.
I've literally never once been satisfied with the information I got from scrims, other than what champions may or may not get picked.
That's pretty accurate. Usually.
Yeah, I have always gotten like this team is crushing it in scrims, and then we get here week 1, and whatever team it was, just like instantly sprints.
Yes, it's the usual.
It's not flex. I was speaking to NoTail yesterday about Dota scrims.
Oh, okay. Just NoTail. Just Dota 2 legend NoTail. Yeah, I was talking to my boy NoTail. We go way back. You know, we used to queue up for some pug games. You know, or Pudge games in my case. You know what I'm saying?
Pudge games, good one. Actually, good pun. But he was saying the exact same thing in Dota, where it's like when he was playing in TI, they would lose scrims to a team, for example. But when they play against him on stage, they just get the enemy team. He doesn't even have to do anything, but they get in their own heads where they're like shaking. They don't know what to pick. The cameras, the audience, it all does it for him. And he's just sitting there like, it's staged now. Good luck.
The secret is to just not give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, just be indifferent.
So that was really interesting. It's very crossover between MOBAs, obviously.
You've just been thirsting to share your NoTail facts. No shame. He's a legend. And all right, shout out to NoTail. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to make of the top 4, but I'm glad to hear that you feel like it's so competitive and anyone can take it, because often that is how it looks like from the outside, despite the fact that it is you and Rogue right now at the top of the standings. It is still best of 1. But Misfits is another name that you brought up that's a bit interesting to me. I'm just going to cough this entire episode. Bear with me. 0-2 week. Really easy to get bought into the Misfits are a streaky team narrative after they just like good first half, immediately kind of started to bomb out in the second half. But how strong do you think Misfits are? Like, really? Because we've seen some really great games. We've seen the G2 Elder game, which was like the miracle win, you know, and credit to them for getting it, but obviously not like conducive to future success. So what's your read on Misfits right now?
I think they're probably like the 5th best team, or maybe Excel could be better. I really like how Excel has been playing, but I think they can beat the top 4, but it's like not a very consistent thing. I would expect them to lose, especially in a best of 5. I think most of their wins have come from like playing fights very well from time to time, which is like a really important thing in the game nowadays. But I don't like how they play like early game macro too much. I think their bot lane is playing like very, very passive. And usually it's like their top laner has a crazy game or their mid pops off in a team fight. I must say though that I think their jungle is really good. I think Rastok plays really good, but he has shown some inconsistencies. So I wouldn't be surprised if they will fall out of the top 4 and start losing some more games, especially after watching last weekend.
I think you can see that they're like the 5th best team, because if you look at their wins, the only teams that they actually beat in the top 4 are you guys on the first game of the week, first game of the entire split.
Yeah,
and like one win against G2. That
and we had 2 Barons in this game.
Yeah, well, yeah, first game.
I won't
You won't get into it.
I won't get into it, but my mid laner got a bit excited. It's like, go, 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 go.
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
all
when you all
run.
funneled in, and then the Akali
We just got a Nash and a kill, and yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and the Akali just killed everyone. And then the win against G2, which was the Elder Dragon win, right? Apart from that, they've lost to every single team in the top 4. So they're almost like the 5th best team gatekeeping noob stompers, you know? Like they're just going to beat the bottom 5, but they can't beat the top 5 in a sense.
I mean, they lost to Astralis too, right? So
Yeah.
They did. That's true. They did lose to Astralis.
I think it's just a
flip.
It's a misfits angle.
It's a Misfits angle.
The second half of the split.
The memes, the narratives, they just keep on giving. XL and Schalke are who they have to play this week. So beating XL, I think, really important. I didn't really care about XL for a number of weeks because they were bad, but the Marcoon Advian swap has been awesome.
It's been unreal, yeah.
Been crazy because even I correct me if I'm wrong here. I'd love to get you both of your reads on this. Even though it was an O2 week, this still looked like a massively better XL than what we saw at the start of the season.
Icky, didn't they have you in your base sweating a bit with that Elder Dragon?
Dude, I didn't even die. Like I was chilling so hard.
They had you in your base with that Elder.
No, I think they play good. Or especially, I know Nuke is a really good player. I was feeling pretty sad watching him like do his team so poorly and him as well underperforming, because when I played with him when he was like really well mentally and like really fit health wise, I know that he was like always the top 2, top 3 mid laner and very good. And I think right now, even though his team is like not doing super well yet, I can see that him individually, he's performing more to his old self again. And I know he's working really hard, especially this offseason and now. So I'm just happy to see him do well. And with Stan, he was pretty elo held because Stan was playing like very, let's say, bad.
Okay.
Good adjective to use there.
I thought you were like, let's say, and I was like, ooh, how's he gonna phrase this one? Bad. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm a wordsmith.
I don't want to know what your original word was.
You're a walking thesaurus.
But his new jungle is actually playing really fucking good.
Yeah.
There it is again.
Great.
Wordsmith.
Yeah, I'm a poet. So now his jungle is playing really good.
Yeah.
His support is not playing super good, but he's at least playing with his jungle a lot. So that's already a really big positive. And yeah, I like how they play around mid. I like how Nuke is playing. So I think they will do well, even though they just came off an 0-2 week, but it was versus Matt and us. So, and the games were pretty competitive, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
It all came down to like one team fight. The Mad Lions game was like a team fight in mid. They just lost it, game over. And then against you guys, it was just, you guys kind of outclassed them with team fights. But then the engages were very like risky, what they were doing, like the Diana like flashing onto you and then just trying to get a combo or something like this. And then, or it wasn't Staniski, I think that he just flashed in mid.
I stopwatched the Diana ult. But I like that he's looking for these
with the Yasuo
things.
combo, right?
Yeah, he just needs some more time, but he's playing really well. Like I like how XL is playing.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked as well. Are they making playoffs, gentlemen? Not trying to meme you.
It's between because if Misfits is the 5th place team and they have 7 wins already, whereas XL and Vitality have like 4 or 5. Yep. I think it's between Vitality and XL for the 6th spot. I don't know. What do you think, Upset?
Do you think XL will make playoffs, Caedrel?
I think there's a chance they might do it. Do you think they'll make playoffs?
What do you think changed?
The whole roster.
Okay, that's good. Both of you, good. Well played.
No, I think they will make playoffs, actually. It's between them and Vid for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Astralis will make playoffs.
Yeah, I think when we look at it, like, we're still so early into the first half of the split. It's not like strength of schedule is really a factor yet, and we'll just have to see how they do. If they can get a win off of a top team, which they were pretty close to, I would say. You were fine. You were in the but you were fine. You were chilling. You were chilling. They were close. If they can do that, and if they can keep beating bottom teams, that's really the thing that matters to me. But that does bring us to Vitality, which I think is the other really interesting team at the top of the standings right now, because they've been a bit all over the place. Sagenda subbed in this week. Sagenda looking better stats wise, but didn't necessarily have like crazy huge pop off performances. What's your guys' read on Vitality at this moment in the split? I think I'm a little bit more on the Excel hype train despite the 2 losses, but maybe that's just because of the stark contrast between the Day and Denic roster and obviously the Advi and Marcoon roster. It's really easy to get hyped when you see such drastic change, whereas Vitality is a bit more of a mystery to me. They're kind of all over the place. Let's start with you, Caedrel. What's your take?
Well, yeah, they're having issues in top lane. That's for sure. They only have the 2 top laners they have. Both are struggling. Even when Chigenda came in, he got solo killed twice, I believe it was, in their game when he was playing Gwen.
Yeah, my boy Adam was.
Your boy Adam was popping off. Like he was winning the early lane phase. It was against Seth, against Adam. Yeah, he was winning the early lane phase, got his flash, but then he just got like solo killed and he was kind of out of the game. So the impact wasn't there. It all comes down to like, especially in that game, mid jungle, because Crown Shot was getting dove.
1v1, yeah.
Top lane was losing. And then it all comes down to mid jungle. Okay, 1v1, 1v1. So I think if you compare both teams, Vitality have like the clutch superstar-ish kind of factor of mid jungle, and then XL just looks like a more well-rounded team, way more aggressive, way more kind of playmaking. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, also even if you look at last week's game, like the game that we played versus XL was actually really close, but the game we played versus Lit was kind of a stomp. And the other game they won this week, the reason they didn't go 0-2 was also because they played SK, and SK is probably the worst team in the league right now.
Yeah.
And they look very dominant against them. So I don't know exactly what to take from this, but I still think Selfmade is a really good player, and he reminds me a little bit of watching him back on SK, where he just sometimes just 1v9s the game. I'm sure he has a lot of players of the game, and he is still super creative in the early games, getting a lot of advantages, but the consistency is definitely lacking in terms of how the team plays. It to me feels like either he has a pop of game or he can also run it down. And usually he carries the team with leader, or it doesn't go so well. And maybe Crowny, I think he carried one game really hard with Varus, like the bot lane.
Against Mad Lions, I think it was.
Yeah. When they
played Varus,
him and LeBron, the 2v2 kill.
Yeah, they played one game really well, but otherwise at least they seem more quiet or even inting when I watch their games. So I think it will really depend on their mid jungle, which is really interesting because the other team is also XL. That also I would say the strength mid jungle. So they play next week actually.
Let's check.
Vitality already played XL, I believe.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this is pretty exciting for me because both of their teams have like a pretty clear strength from my view.
Week 7 on Saturday, Vitality.
So this game will probably be super important and also really hyped to see the different styles because both of them play heavily around mid and around the jungle, but they play like quite different champions, right? So pretty exciting stuff.
Ooh, the Nuke Duck Champion Ocean narrative.
It's the Norwegian battle of the Norwegian mids.
Oh, it's actually so hype.
There's
the 2 players in our league who would lock Yasuo, probably the only 2. I mean, it's interesting because I think one of the things we've been kind of tracking is the overall strength of the LEC, and it's hard to pinpoint if we're getting better, right? Because we've seen so many drastic changes. Because obviously in 2019, we won MSI. G2 was, defining the international meta, depending on how grandiose you want to get about it with all these crazy flex picks in the pike top. So it was really easy to feel like, wow, LEC is crazy. But it was pretty much just Fnatic and G2 for most of that summer split from what we saw from the outside in those best of 5s. And now, as G2 are no longer 3 fakers on the top side, right? As other people start to catch up.
Still one faker, but
still one faker on the top side. He's the avatar now. We use his title here.
Wait, if he's bold faker, is he baker?
What?
I don't know. Random thought. Just kind of give names here.
Thank you for your contribution to the podcast.
Wait, he's gone from baby faker.
It's like YouTube comments or something.
He's gone from baby faker to bald faker. What a glow
Grandpa faker.
Grandpa faker.
When does he become grandpa faker?
Now, because he's bald.
He's bald.
So now he's gone from baby to grandpa?
I just wonder if he will also shave his eyebrows for playoffs.
Oh, maybe
how scary would that
one.
be? Imagine Caps has no eyebrows, no hair.
Yeah,
that's intimidation strategy. I'm just saying, G2, if you need another pick me up, shaving the eyebrows.
I
don't want him
and
to
then he just stares you down from the other side of the stage like this. He just can't see the eyebrows.
He just solo kills you and then leans out and looks.
And then the light is just shining and Okay.
Oh my god, on the stage! Holy shit, that's crazy.
G2, let us know. Maybe people can request special lighting so the light just shines off.
Just illuminates his head.
We can. Marini, who is our wonderful makeup artist, can you oil his head? Marini's here. No, Marini refuses to oil his head. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things you can do. We haven't had we haven't had too many bald players, or willfully bald players even then with the willful head shaving. That said, is the league getting stronger overall? It's kind of the big question that I want to ask because at MSI. Mad Lions did really well. They got to the semifinal, but a lot of the sentiment was the teams playing at MSI were all a little bit shaky. It didn't feel like everyone had everything figured out, kind of like it did maybe at Worlds last year or in previous international competitions. So how good do we think the LEC is overall? Or is the LEC getting better, not just amongst each other, like not just how competitive it is, as we can see in this battle for top 6, but like overall, do you think the LEC is getting stronger?
Yes, for sure. I think, like you said, 2019 we sent Splice as our third team. I mean, I lost in the gauntlet, was unlucky, but we weren't super strong anyways compared to the best world's teams. But now I really think Europe actually has 4 really good teams. And even the other teams are playing a lot more aggressive than before and are going for a lot more plays. I mean, we still have like maybe a weak bottom 3 right now, but overall the level is much, much higher. Maybe our best team is not as good as before, but all of the teams are pretty close to that level and are improving and pushing each other. So I think Europe has become stronger over the time. Yeah.
I think we talked about having a clear top 4, but only 3 teams are going to go to Worlds.
Yeah.
So that's the scary part. Like, which team's actually going to fall out? If it's you, Rogue, Mad, and
Why
G2.
do you say me first?
Well, I'm just saying because you're in first place, so you're at the top of my screen.
Kind of.
Okay.
Well, I mean, history does have a tendency to repeat itself.
Wait, how many times? This is not a dig. Well, it's a semi-dig, but it's just a question. It's a question. How many times have you been 1 best of 5 away from Worlds? Twice?
Yeah, twice or 3 times, I think. But I was
close.
If we won 1 more game in regular season in spring of 2018, for example, we would have qualified through points.
Spring 2018?
Yeah, and same thing in 2019. And both times I was 1 game away from qualifying just through points.
So the narrative's going to be...
Oh, that's brutal.
The narrative's going to be good.
Oh,
And then I
forgot.
remember all the games we lost, like super close, like 8k ahead, like throwing. I'm waking up with nightmares.
Oh, no.
But it's fine. Eventually it's going to happen, right? I will not
Maybe it
stop
happens
trying.
this year. But I think the scary thing is, if you look at MSI, RNG was obviously the winners.
Yep.
Right now in the LPL, they're 12th place.
Yeah.
But also Cloud9 is losing to FlyQuest Academy.
Yeah.
The world's in shambles a bit.
I think scheduling is a bit tough when you play an international tournament and 2 weeks later the competition starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Youngbuck said something really interesting in an interview. He said that any team that goes to MSI and makes it far or whatever from Europe should have week 1 of summer like off, in a sense. Which makes scheduling weird, but having that extra week break could make a pretty big difference.
That's what G2 even did, right? They put like Lulex and Blanken
in
like a long time ago.
2017?
Yeah.
2017, 20,
Yeah,
yeah.
2017.
Yeah. Well, and I can't knock it because we had Elioya on last week or the week before. It all blurs together. And he was talking about, not obviously Matt are also dealing with the quarantine stuff or have been dealing with the quarantine stuff, which makes it even more stressful. But yeah, just coming back immediately having to play again. I think the hope is that the things that you learn from scrimming all of these like world-class international teams will outweigh what is kind of the inevitable burnout, but it is really hard.
I mean, League is so much about your mental strength and how you feel and how you go into games and how you feel about your team. So it's really undescribable how much this mindset thing makes, I think, and how you deal with losing scrims and how you deal with winning scrims as well, to be fair, and just in general. So if you feel drained mentally going into the split, I think you need some time to recover. But actually, looking at Matt, they are already looking like better and better every week, and I can still see their strengths, and I still would think that they will go to Worlds with us and G2 would be my prediction.
You don't think Rogue's going to make it?
I mean, it's super close, and of course, I'm going to say me, but I would rather think G2 or Matt will make it it's so hard to predict because the game is so meta-dependent for all of our teams right now. But I would predict this because when I watch Rogue, I think they're really good, but I actually have a feeling I know what they're going to do, and I'm not too concerned because usually they win through smashing bot lane, and their top side's also really solid. But I think Matt mid-jungle is better. I think G2, when they play good, they should be also better. And when I think of playing with Hans and Trimby, I think they're really good, but usually I never get smashed by him, even if he picks for lane like heavily. So I don't feel too concerned playing against them compared to Matt and G2, where they have like a lot more X factor on top side, I would say.
Yeah, and I think I can see that because a lot of the Rogue games is, and we also saw the Rogue bot lane aggression was, and actually I'd love to get your take on this, specifically in the Rogue versus G2 game as a pleb, the level 2 tower dive the Rogue go for that ultimately gives like Mickey X a double kill, eats a ton of experience.
Reckless got one of the kills, I think.
Reckless got one of the kills. Yeah. How did you feel about that play going out? Because the Rogue bot lane has been super interesting to track, and it's been really easy to give them praise because they've been playing a lot of Kalista Nautilus, and just killing people in lane. But what's your read on like how they stack up against the other top bot lanes? Is it just that they're good enough to beat down on a lot of the lower teams, or is this like really one of the best bot lanes in the league right now?
No, I think they're probably overall performance from official games judging, they're probably second best bot lane. Yeah, second, I think Mad has like high highs and really low lows, so it would be unfair, I think, to say that they're better than Rogue bot lane right now. Even the last time they played in playoffs and stuff, it was very one-sided. I think what's with Hans Sommer, I think he plays like very strong laning ADs most of the time, and he always drafts of winning bot, and this is like their style, and they have like this identity, but I think when he's playing, when he's behind or not like smashing lane, I think he is not playing super well, but I still like really respect how he plays, and I think he's for sure the best or second best AD right now, how he's playing, but he is a little bit one-dimensional. I would like him to be a bit more diverse in the champs he plays, but it's working for them, so why would he change it? I think it fits their jungle well too, because he plays really well around pressure, and in general their solo lanes are super solid, so if he can break open the game, they will probably win the games. But yeah, I think they're very good. The dive was, I think Mickey played it really well. I think Mickey in general really played this game super well. I think G2 botlane as a whole played this game much better, and they really snowballed. They played really well around the Tristana. So yeah, I would say Rogue botlane is still second, but Matt and G2 could come very close or even be better than them, depending on what champs they play and how they approach the game.
Yeah. And naturally, I assume you are number one.
No, I think Astralis botlane is the best.
You're such a troll.
No, I mean, I have to think that we are the best, because I'm not going to go into a game and think, oh shit, we play with somebody that's better than us.
Yeah.
But I also think our performance has been very consistent. We play like some scaling champs, we play some early game champs, we do pretty well on both. I think Hilly has been having a really great split. I think he's not even leading the league in death right now, which is crazy.
What a shame.
For how he plays. So yeah, I think we are right now really, really well-rounded and play really good. And I love the meta too. So I would think that we are the best bot lane, but the other bot lanes are also good.
So you think that because Rogue's main win condition is playing through bot, and having that winning bot lane is what helps him win the early to mid game?
No,
you being able to shut that down is just like a simplified way of just saying that like you can deal with it pretty easily.
Yeah, like just when I imagine playing with this team, I have a clear idea what they're going to try to do, and maybe they're too good and they will just do it anyways and we will lose. But with the other two teams, I feel like there's more X factor, and their team fighting or their creativity will be a bit more harsh. But I know how Rogue plays, but not to take a dig at the top side. I think Inspired, Odo, and Larsen have been all playing really solid. I think Inspired is maybe the best jungle. I mean, Bwipo has been playing great too. So yeah. I think this team is really solid. If I had to choose from the top four, I would think that we have the best chance of beating them compared to Matt and G2. But of course, we can also beat Matt and G2. And everyone can beat everyone.
Which I like, and it is exciting.
Well, playoffs is going to be a bit...
I double checked. Hylissang is number one in deaths.
He is?
Yeah.
He's back,
My
baby.
boy.
He's back on his throne.
He's at 43. He's one above Kire and Lebrov, who are both at 42.
Did he end last weekend? Actually,
I don't know.
because I was looking before. I didn't, but okay.
Let me have a look.
This should be everything just from. Let me double check. 2021 LEC summer. Yeah.
So no, he's not really been inting. 3 deaths, 5 deaths, 5 deaths, 3 deaths. The Pike game, he had almost all of your deaths combined.
Hilariously, you are tied last in deaths alongside Crown Chat at 14. So
solid.
there you go. It's a balancing act.
I also have most kills, so he has most deaths.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're gonna go step time.
All right. Let's talk about should we do stats first? Or let's talk about Fnatic first. I think so. This has been kind of a crazy experience watching Fnatic so far this season, because obviously, just the role swap drama in itself, not a lot of people knew what to expect, and your guys' week one wasn't. It was a little all over the place. You know, we had the Ghost Udyr game from Bwipo, and I'm sure that tech worked great in scrims.
Yeah.
It sucked on stage.
Conqueror Ghost Udyr.
Yeah. You know, Sag indeed. But then since then, you guys have just been rising so incredibly quickly. So what's the experience been like?
Rising.
You watching this you watching these off-season roster changes, right? Knowing that now you have Bwipo as your jungler, you've got Adam as your top laner. You and Hilly obviously already a very strong core, but then progressing week to week, progressing with a player who is new in his role. And correct me if I'm wrong, Fnatic doesn't have like a jungle position coach, right? So it's just kind of Bwipo learning as he goes.
Yeah, not specifically.
Not specifically. Yeah. So how has the experience been of like growing with this team with a player who's out of his normal role, learning in the first season, with a rookie on the lineup, and still trying to keep together all the things that made you guys good in the previous splits?
I think Bwipo fits the role of jungle better than maybe Oscar did, just because of Bwipo's personality. He is so communicative and he makes so much effort in the team being like good and making sure everyone gets on the same page. And I think if you play jungle in 2021, you probably should like talk a lot in the early game and make plans and be the leading voice with your support for the most of it, because all the other roles, I mean, your mid also can have a lot of impact, but it's a lot about coordinating as three and making sure you do the same things. And Bwipo does that super well, specifically with Hylissang. You guys probably know that they are like very good friends for a long time already. And even when he was playing top lane, Hilly was just roaming top from time to time. So them playing together just has been great for our team, honestly. And Bwipo has also obviously been helping Adam a lot because he was a top laner and he knows top lane. He was not just top laner, he was one of the best. And he teach him a lot already. And also Niski has a very easy to work with personality, I think, and Bwipo too. So them working together just has been really great too. So I really feel like we are a team that has like really wants to be on the same page and really enjoys being with each other for the most of it. Of course, there's always stressful moments, but overall, I think our atmosphere is really good for improving, and we just enjoy playing with each other. And I obviously also gave my input on the changes, and I think Oscar's a great player. I wouldn't know who's better jungle between Oscar or Bwipo, like in a vacuum, but for our team, I think Bwipo, with the combination of Hylissang, just made a lot of sense for us. So we went with it, and he has been adapting to the jungle role great. Actually, I had a dream this morning that I was also playing jungle.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
But to be honest, if you're a really good player, I think anyone can jungle if you actually understand the game well. Like, you maybe need to learn the champs a bit, but top lane has some overlap. But if you're really good, you should know how jungle works, because you need to play around your jungle the whole game, because that's how the game is designed. So, yeah, I think I could also play jungle, but I think Bwipo is doing super well.
Elyoya said, I remember we had like a jungle discussion of the players. Elyoya said it's hard to get a read on how good Bwipo is as a jungler, but he's just a really good player. And that's why he's a good jungler.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like the same kind of thing that you were just touching on.
I also love how I'm pretty sure Bwipo said the same thing before the swap was even anywhere near announcing. I can't remember when we had him on the show, but he was talking about how like jungle isn't that complicated. Like people make a jungle out to be like this big, like, but if you know League of Legends, you can learn the jungle. And then of course, like 2 months later or a month later, the role swap announcement came out and we were like, what the hell is going on? But I love, we have a history of players low-key roasting junglers every time they come on, because they're just like, the role is not that hard. Like,
no, but to be fair, most roles are not that hard. But other roles, the champs are maybe a little bit more demanding mechanically. Like, I think role swapping to mid must be the hardest thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Because there's so many champs, and they're all really, a lot of them are really hard, and the game is very centered around you, very complicated. But jungle, the champs are like, you play PvE for a lot of the game, which makes it easier because you don't need to learn all the matchups. You need to understand how your lanes work, but your laners are communicating, of course, as well. So I can see jungle, if you're a really good player and you know how the game works, that you can transition to it.
Yeah, I also think it's personality based as well. Like similar to the way you said, Bwipo just talks a lot. I think if you have like a quiet player who's just like a very hyper carry mid laner or something like this, and then he swaps to jungle, I think the personality clash would be a bit of a struggle. Although they would learn the role pretty well in an actual team functioning, it wouldn't go so well in terms of like communication and stuff, I think. But if you have the personality, you're bubbly, like you like to talk a lot, Bwipo, you know, just putting them in the jungle, a couple of weeks and they'll be on it.
Yeah, jungle is for sure also the most team role in the game, I think, because you work with everyone on your team the whole early game to make it work, right? So
yeah, and I mean, obviously, like we put Bwipo in our top 5 for junglers. It was hard.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just remembered when we were in Schalke and Smithy's like, Memento gank top. And then I just reminded myself, jungle is just like a team game kind of thing. And your laner's like, gank this lane.
teamwork.
Come gank. I see. You're there to be bullied by your teammates.
Yeah, that's it.
Either communicate proactively or they will communicate at you, I guess.
It gets to a point where it just becomes bullying. But at the start, it's fine.
Well, it's good for now. Fnatic obviously tied for first. How are you feeling about the kind of the progression week to week? Because you guys, for the most part, have just kept winning. So, what do you guys? How do you actually decide what you guys are focusing on? How do you and Hilly decide what you're focusing on? Because it's really easy for us to go Bwipo, Adam. Adam, a new player, easy to walk, easy to see his progress. Bwipo, a new jungler, easy to watch, easy to see his progress. But for you guys and for Nisqy, what are you focusing on week to week when it comes to growth? How to get better?
Well, me and Hilly are doing the same things as before, reviewing a lot of games, making sure our laning is good, playing a lot of duo queue, just practicing the meta champs, and overall I just watch a lot of LPL and try to bring ideas from them into the game, because I can see that we are still lacking behind how the best teams in the world play, especially in terms of early game decision making and macro. I think we don't do the things we could do still. So I'm not like, we are tied for first, yes, but I don't think we're going to win the split right now, or we are like insane. Like, I'm very focused on the improvement of the team still, because we are first in regular season right now, but it's still, first of all, 3 more weeks to go, and playoffs is actually what matters the most. So I want to make sure we're top 4 and we improve as much as possible before we reach that spot. But I just have to praise my teammates, to be honest, because Nisqy he had a solid spring, but he really is coming more into his own in summer. He has been making a big effort to work with our jungle and support and really be more of a voice in the game as well, which is really important, I think, if you play mid lane. And Adam has been improving at a very fast rate. He seems very talented, and he still has a lot to grow, because I know the areas he's still lacking in. I am sure he can improve these a lot. And Bwipo, has been transitioning great. Hilly has been very positive for us as well in summer split with the changes. So I'm just playing AD carry, so I'm really happy. We're winning games. I'm playing AD carry.
I remember watching your guys' content video of the Pictionary thing that you did on the board or something. But the atmosphere in the team looks like, is that one of the best team atmospheres you've ever been in? Everyone looks like they're just laughing together and having fun.
Yeah, probably. I think 2018 summer, when in Schalke, when we went to the final, I also felt a similar sort of atmosphere, and I'm feeling it again right now. It's great when you're winning games and you're also having fun, and everyone has still the focus on improving and it's not getting too cocky. This is like, it's great. This is when it really makes fun to compete.
Dang, I mean, it's exciting. I'm excited for you. You're a guy who obviously has a lot of history, as Caedrel highlighted in a halfway burning thing. You've been so close, but so far so many times. And it feels like seeing yourself as first in AD carry. And even if that is up for debate, I think people will look at you in Hylissang and say top 2, maybe at worst top 3. Do you feel like this is the split? Like, I know your mentality is like, you don't want to oversell it, you don't want to overhype it, you don't want to overfocus it, and I certainly don't want you to jinx it. But like, from an outside perspective, this feels like Fnatic finally have momentum again. Obviously, spring was very hard. From an outside perspective, obviously high expectations always for Fnatic, but it seems like you guys have the momentum now. You've got a good team atmosphere. You seem to be getting better every week, apparently also learning from the LPL, which is good news for international fans. Is this the one upset? Is it finally your time to, let's get the narrative, take the crown, the throne, the new era? Is this the upset era?
You had to get it in.
I had to.
I
get a bonus every time I say the word dynasty, legacy, or kings. For those.
No, I stopped thinking like this a long time ago, because even though losing really sucks, it definitely made me grow so much more than if I had a very easy road to success and was just winning and being in the best team. I try to take it very step by step. I try to be really realistic of what we're good at, what we're bad at, and I don't get overly excited about us. Like I said, being first right now, for example, I'm really focused on the goal and on our mission to go to Worlds and to win the split. And I don't know if it's going to happen this split. I think we are in a good spot, but I know sometimes just small things go wrong and they snowball, and then you go into a bad direction. So I'm really paying attention to the details that this doesn't happen and we are on track. And I don't really think so much about the future. All I know is that I want to reach it, and I will stay dedicated to this till I will reach it. And it can be this split, but I have a lot of patience and a lot of motivation still to make it happen. So I'm thinking very long term, but also trying to be present in the moment, of course.
Damn.
That's a balancing act for sure. And we've talked a lot over the last few years as to your kind of your mentality and your growth. Has it been something that's been? Is it an interesting? Because a lot of the times when you've been joining rosters, right, it's been kind of a mixed bag of history and experience. But when you join this roster outside of Adam, everyone on this roster is super experienced. Like Niski's been in NA, he's come back. Bwipo has obviously been on Fnatic for his entire career, but he's been there through the good, the bad splits. And Hylissang, one of the most veteran players that we have. So how has it been building a team environment where everyone like you is kind of coming in with their own opinions, their own experiences in the past? You had a new coach coming in this season too, and I know Yamato has strong opinions too on how things should run. How has it been getting to this point where you finally do have this really nice, really great, really excellent team environment?
Yeah, just a lot of hard work and conflict, I think. Like really getting to know people takes a lot of effort and also a lot of conflict because people are really different and they want different things and they like to be talked to in different ways and they like to, they just enjoy different things about the game as well. So just talking a lot, really trying to understand the other person. And this is, I think, the only way to get to a team environment that we are in right now. And it's still not perfect, of course. We still have arguments, but I think it's also about really caring about one another and trying to make sure that everyone feels included in the team and feels like they're not just about to be replaced after 2 bad weeks or something. I think this kind of vibe and energy we want to have in our team, and we are putting effort into going into that direction for sure.
I like it. Would be terrible if someone released a
like
video.
a video of you
like how you've had a bad week and you're instantly going to get benched.
and we're not going to play together anymore.
But
as a
it's
five.
sponsored, so you're making money off of it. So it's
and then you remove it.
That's true. That would be a shame.
That would suck.
That would be a shame.
That would really be a shame.
Oddly specific, but that would be a shame.
That would be a massive shame.
That would be a
And
massive shame.
You just delete it off the internet and no one saw it.
It's fine. No one saw it.
No one saw it.
We can move on.
When you delete something from the internet,
It's
it's just
gone. Yeah, no one
That's
takes
just how it
screenshots.
works, man. Recycling bin.
Yeah. 2018, we just delete the Wikipedia page. That Schalke Fnatic final never happened.
Oh, we have to do it again then.
We have to just run it. We have to run it back.
Run it back.
It is what it is. I killed 2v2. That's what matters.
Killed me too.
Who cares about trophies?
Nuke got the Lissandra counter out for the Akali.
Rack up the 2v2 kills.
That's all you can ask for.
I killed 2v2.
Copium.
All right. I want to shift over to something that I think is very unique to you specifically, Upset, although my understanding is you're slowly spreading this to other players. You're a big stats guy. When you want to talk about yourself as a player, you are one of the few players that brings receipts. You know what I mean? Like you bring the numbers. Like people try to talk shit to you and you're like, excuse me, I'll have you know that I'm number one in these 3 metrics. And like, I don't give what you have to say. So like because this has been a slowly growing thing, because we've talked before when I've been asking about you and your performance, and you've often brought up stats, but like why do you like stats, and what stats do you like? Why do you gravitate towards stats as a player? Because I think it's cool, but it's very unique to you, I think.
Well, first of all, I think stats are not at all perfect way to represent a player. It really depends on how your team plays and how the people around you play, and also how the enemy is drafting and playing. But I also think over a large sample size, you can see some clear trends. But when I talk to someone and they maybe are not like a super good pro player, and I try to explain them something, or they watch the game, they don't see all the details that I see that makes me judge a player. Mm-hmm. And stats are an easier way to transmit information that everyone, because it's numbers, it's very easy to grasp onto. Yep. And usually I have very good numbers. So
he's a numbers guy.
So I like to talk about numbers.
What's your favorite one?
My favorite?
Is it DPM?
It really changed throughout the years. I used to be a big DPM guy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I really loved having high DPM. Like always after the game, I check my DPM. It's probably from solo queue as well, because it's just fun to look at the big graph, I guess.
So your
DPM graph's bigger than the other people. So
you lost the game, but you have highest DPM. So
yeah, but then it changed a little bit more to CSD. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I just enjoyed the laning a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But CSD is also skewed so much by how your team plays. Like people can not be great in lane at all, but if their team plays really well around it, then they can have really high, or
like farming Krugs.
Farming Krugs, yeah. Or some people don't move from their lane once and just only play to last hit every creep, or only play like super strong champs in lane, and then wow, you have a big CSD.
Did you know that Hans Sama is at 30, almost 36, CSD at 15. That's pretty big.
I think this is skewed by the game he played against Senna. I think it's like around 21 or something.
Oh, it might be. I'm not sure if this particular
But
platform
yeah,
will
I
squeeze
mean,
it. But you're trailing behind at like 16. You're only positive
16, is that
16.
it?
Which, for the record, both of those numbers are disgustingly large. Like 16, 17 CS is like a very big gap.
I mean, if I would play Varus and Raven too, I'm sure my CSD would be bigger. But I did play Kalista as well.
You did.
But not many people play Kalista so well. So yeah,
It's a big boon.
It's when I have good numbers. Talking about it myself feels a bit weird because it's like, look at my CSD, like
Look at my KDA.
And you're 1 damage per minute over Reckless. He's only at 492 and you're at 493. So
I think anything under 493 is not acceptable. 493 is the sweet spot. If you do 1 damage less
It's the
per minute,
benchmark.
yeah.
All right, so to be clear, so it's you, Hansama, Crownshot, Karzi, and Jeskla who are in the acceptable range. But Reckless, Neon, Patrick, Kabe, and Jezu, unacceptable.
493
But
is the
for
magic
example,
number.
Kazi, when I see him play sometimes, like I know he's playing for DPM. Like the way he's playing fights, it's like he does not care if he wins the game. He's just going face first, trying to make as much damage as possible before dying. I'm playing Aphelios like on the piano, like, okay, they use these cooldowns now, like I can play, and he's just playing the bongos, like jumping in on Tristana, doing 5k damage, and he drops that. They lose the game, but his DPM is so high, I'm like, I'm so triggered.
That was a very good analogy.
And
We actually we missed last week. Last week we were just had the worst analogies and metaphors of anyone you've ever heard, but playing the bongos is such a...
Yeah, they're bongo players and piano players. It's also in draft. Like if one has like a 1-3-1, they're playing like the symphony from Mozart, and then
the
full
Malphite
team
player.
fight comp.
Bongo cha cha cha.
It's like stats, but I think over a large sample size, you can definitely see tendencies.
Yeah.
But I also see them anyways, just watching the games. And
I think
it's very specific to champions and what they play against and how your team plays around it. But you can still see a lot of trends.
Yeah, and I think one of the weaknesses of stats is the lack of large sample sizes, because here we get 18 games a season, right? And we also get patch changes every 2 weeks. And if you wanted a perfect world, would be each patch would be isolated on its own, because even patches can change the context of matchups. And then also you could do things like, rather than me looking at how you play in general, I could look at your Kalista compared to other Kalistas in the league versus, let's say, a Draven or something. And that would be really when you'd start to get, I think, a more complete picture. But the issue is there just aren't enough games. And even best of 3 believers, if we were in best of 3, there still wouldn't be enough games. And that's kind of one of the downsides of League of Legends stats is because not only do you have patches, but there just aren't enough games regularly. It's really hard to build a big enough sample size to get super, super nitty gritty on the stats.
And if your team is good, your stats can be boosted. If you're in a really boosted team and everything is around you, your stats can be boosted.
That happened to me. My stats were, taking a hit.
Why? Because your team was really bad?
No, not because my team was really bad. I just,
No. Because the team was really boosted.
So what do you...
I'm just trying to get on the stats talk.
You're just trying to get in on the stats.
I know, but I wouldn't say I was a stats player because I wasn't
on Excel, most of those players had awful stats, but one player had really good stats. You know who that was?
Patrick.
It was Patrick.
Yeah.
Or do you
Have to get Patrick. That was our only win condition. It was the only way we won games.
Exactly. Stats can be inflated, but I like to watch at a game and see how somebody's playing, and then I know basically how he played and how good he is.
Yeah.
But stats can give you a good sample size.
They can in a way. I remember I had like an analyst in Excel, and what he would do before game days is he would give me like a jungle proximity chart of the jungler's last games on stage as to with a heat map as to where he was playing towards and his most common pathings. And like to me, I was like, okay, that's cool data, but when I'm in the game itself, I can probably track it, or I can see it for myself, or something will happen and this will be completely useless.
Yeah.
So like having the raw stats before a game for the player as well, like having the heat map that is 26%.
You need heat
top.
goggles then, I think. Then you can see like where he was.
While I'm playing.
Yeah, you
Just
put them on like he was just here. I can
Shave
see
my
it.
head and put some goggles on.
You're like the Predator. Playing Rengar, you have a heat map.
Yeah, you just have a heat map.
I don't know, there's a lot of potential. Who what is his name? We have to hire this guy.
Yeah.
We need some heat maps.
Okay. I think
No, but it was like 26% top, 24% mid, and it's like, well,
yeah, this is
the context is not there, but I get it.
I think the thing about league analytics is that they're still I think the biggest problem with league analytics is that people really aggressively use them in situations where they maybe shouldn't. And that's one problem. Or people really like to use stats to say something concrete, when in reality, I think again, without a large enough sample size, they're good to help you inform opinions, or in your case, back up your opinions in a way that doesn't take you going into a frickin' VOD review to show people like 8 or 9 different plays, right?
Yeah.
But they're not like the perfect tools to tell you everything in every context.
But me and you are having this discussion. So let's just say an example. You're on a bottom team, right? You're struggling. You think you're a better player than you are, and maybe your team's either selling the spot or your contract's running out. So we had this discussion of like, well, if you're the pro player, it's in your best interest to play for yourself. If the team's struggling, you're not going to make playoffs. It's all about just playing for your raw stats in a sense. So do you think that can come into play if your contract's running out or whatever it is?
Of course, and GMs can care a lot about this. So let's say you're playing top lane. You pick a range champ every game. You will lose the game no matter what, but you play range champ versus tank. You get a huge CSD. You don't move from your lane. You farm every jungle camp. Your CSD is plus 30 suddenly. Your goal difference is massive too.
It's all green.
You're on the bottom place team like, wow, how's this guy so elo ahead? Look, he's losing every game, but his CSD is so massive and his goal differential. And then you get a contract by Team Liquid and... No, I'm joking.
I was wondering if we were going to go there. I was like, I remember one of your top laners seemed to get a lot of Kennen picks. He did play Vayne against Mordekaiser and go up like 100
EUphoria is actually great.
Yeah.
He is a great player. But this is an example of like how stats can be inflated, and for other players you can look, wow, this guy must be so elo. Look at his stats, and you don't watch the games, you just see his stats, and then there's so much context. And like I said, it was a joke with EUphoria, but there are other players where I'm like, oh, the stats are really good. I watch the games, like, very interesting.
And interestingly, I think that if we look back at some of the Origin splits, right, in that split where he got to, I don't even remember whose Mordekaiser he played against. It might have been Expect. I cannot remember. He played Vayne and Mordekaiser. He went up like 100 CS.
Oh, yeah, that was Expect. That was Expect on Mordekaiser.
Guys,
I can't lane. I was in the game. All I can remember is him saying, this is absolutely unlaneable.
EUphoria is a great player, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that in the context of that lane matchup, EUphoria probably got a lot of advantages.
This was just a joke, of course.
Yeah, no. But I think that also that like as much as EUphoria is a great player and that data probably did help people decide that he's a player worth picking up, that's also... that CSD stat is not what makes EUphoria good. You know what I mean?
No,
that's not a full representation of what makes him good.
I mean, even when he plays GP, he's like up to 50 CS. So
he's got the game up. Yeah,
he's just really insane in lane.
Klepto Vayne top against Expect 130 CS up.
Imagine that goal difference as well. It's like nothing. It's like playing Draven.
You can literally run it for the rest of the season. You'll still have positive CSD after a game like that.
Yeah.
I think the big takeaway here is if you are someone who likes to use stats, I think using them as supporting evidence, or using them to, if you like looking at the game in an analytical sense, using them to ask questions or support conclusions is fine. Like, wow, this guy has really crazy CSD. What's happening here? Like, that is a good way to start.
He has a really high KDA. Is he playing like really passive in the games? Is he actually playing for it, or is he playing aggressively enough? But then you need to critically think and understand the game well, right? About threats and understanding if the guy is actually playing for KDA or if he's actually playing to avoid the threats and play well. So you can look at stat, but then you need to look at the game. You can't just look at the stats and say, wow, he's really good. Look at stat.
Yeah, stats in isolation can look really pretty, but I think ultimately definitely go wrong if people try to use them as the sole basis of any argument.
Usually if you have really bad stats, though, probably something is going wrong.
For sure. But again, as you mentioned, pretty much every stat in the game is super...
connected,
win bias, and also connected, right? So like we've had let's say when G2 and Fnatic were winning, if any one member of G2 had just been garbage, statistically we probably would have never known. Now I don't think that was the case of G2 2019. I thought they were all very good, but let's just say like
80 carry that roll swaps.
80 carry that roll swaps.
Suddenly has the best stats out of every AD, completely wrong-denying. Okay. I guess he's the best AD.
Just an example.
Just an example. Not salty at all. Not salty at all. I mean, being on a winning team is an easy way to get good stats, right? And I think that's kind of the trap. I'm curious if there's anything else in the League of Legends scene that interests you deeply as stats. Any champions that frustrate you? What makes you upset? What gets you going?
Sauce. No, we're not gonna go into this.
He did ask at the start of I gave upset clearance. If he wants to have the sauce discussion.
I just when I listen to this podcast, I like to listen to
you must have some questions.
Like, why do you not consider ketchup a sauce?
Because it's so like common, isn't it? I don't know. It's just a subconscious thing where it's just.
So what is ketchup?
You have fries, and then you obviously have ketchup with fries, right? That's the way I see it.
Well, this is happening. It's happening now. I don't know how we got there.
No, okay. It's happening.
Okay.
Let's have it.
It's the sauce talk. If you want to skip ahead, we'll talk about the games coming up next week after this, but it's time for the sauce talk.
Okay, let's get deep into it.
You need to define what you mean by sauce before we can actually have a discussion here. I think.
So let's take like restaurants as an example, right? Subway.
Sure.
Subway sauces, there's loads of them.
Yeah.
I personally don't like any of them. Like, not that I don't like any. I'd rather not have one. And then let's take another example.
No, but can you define sauce?
Define sauce.
Dude, what sauces are there?
Yes, but if ketchup is not a sauce or if ketchup is okay, define what is it.
Let's
not
say
a sauce.
ketchup. Let me try this.
Like them.
Let me try. Wait.
What?
Ketchup's like a condiment, you know. It's like
It's so. What is the line between condiment and sauce? So ketchup. What are other condiments? What do you count as a condiment versus a sauce?
Anything that goes on. Okay, so like wrapped things like kebabs, subs, maybe burgers as well. But then the thing is, ketchup. You can't put ketchup on a Subway sandwich, can you?
I mean, depends on the sandwich.
You can, but you don't really, do you? Like, let's say what's your Subway order? You probably get like, I don't know. What is it called? The Western sauce or something?
I mean, I get the Chipotle, sometimes the barbecue, whatever. Yeah,
barbecue. Yeah.
Can somebody explain? Like, I thought Chipotle is like a different restaurant.
So Chipotle is a different restaurant. In this case, a Chipotle is a pepper, is a specific kind of pepper. So the restaurant is named after that specific kind of pepper.
I never knew that. That's interesting. Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
So I think the two most...
No, I was actually curious. I just went with it. I'm sorry.
I was like, do you know? Are you just absolutely griefing me right now?
Yeah,
no, I didn't know.
That's why I started. I was like, Western sauce, because I didn't know else Chipotle restaurant. I didn't know it was called Chipotle sauce.
I actually bombed, by the way. Chipotle is in adobo sauce, like these canned things. Super, super good.
I never had Chipotle. It's like an American thing, right?
Did you ever go to the States?
I was in the States once. Yeah.
Well, there's another place.
What for? Rift Rivals?
No. Yeah, it was like...
it was just a visit?
Yeah.
It wasn't anything league related? Oh,
Chipanga is the place in Berlin that's like Chipotle-esque. I don't know.
Chipanga?
Chipanga is what it's called. I said you like.
Cool name.
Is that like the Chipotle
version? It's the Chipotle thing. It's the make a burrito, vaguely Mexican.
To be honest, I don't think you know what sauce is.
I don't think you have a clear stance here.
Okay, give me your definition of sauce then.
I think sauce is anything that you like put on top of things, condiments included. Mayonnaise can be a sauce.
Okay, let me change. Okay, do you like fish?
I do like fish.
Do you like all fish?
I'm not. I mean, what kind of question is that?
So like, do you like salmon? Fish. Do you like cod?
I like most fish.
Do you like most? But there's exceptions that you don't like.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the same thing for sauce, right?
But you say you don't like sauce.
Your stance was, I don't like sauce.
Yeah, you hate sauce.
Because I dislike more sauces than I like sauces.
This isn't an example where Upset has to use stats to provide examples to the uneducated. Everyone knows what sauce is. You don't just get to say, I don't like sauce and not give context.
Okay, so by majority, I dislike sauce. There are a few exceptions, but most of the time, disliked.
Why? When did you realize that you don't like sauce?
No, this is getting very almost like a therapeutic session now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when was the
great
first
co-host.
time?
Let me know when you retire. No, you're good too. We can do, all three of us. You're included.
I'm gonna roll swapped away to Gary.
No, you're included. I'm not kicking you out. God,
you want 3 hosts?
Yes, that's good.
Is 3 hosts good?
Let's go to the swimming pool.
Did you just want Drakos?
Drakos, yeah. Let's go to the swimming pool.
Yeah, or Disneyland.
It's
Disneyland
really warm
is the other classic.
I know it's great pool.
For sure.
But saying that the Euro Cup had 4 hosts.
Bwipo's coming too, by the way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Great.
Is Bwipo going to be a host as well?
Oh, God.
Oh, no, we're just going swimming.
We're just going swimming.
You can shave your heads for more streamlined swimming if you want.
No. We're good. It's just swimming. There will be no.
So
other
what
discussion.
happened? Why don't you like sauce?
Let's get back on topic, please.
Why don't I don't know. I just don't like the texture of it in my mouth.
What?
But you like ketchup.
Yeah.
Okay, so
also I'll say this.
Actually upsets
I'll say this.
Caedrel is very
upsets.
No, I'll say this. So a burger, right?
Yeah.
Burger.
A burger. I feel like if you have a sauce on a burger, for example, it overwhelms you. So the point where you eat it, you can only taste the sauce, right?
I think that's a fair argument. And I think as an Americans are notorious for drowning mediocre foods in sauce to make up for the fact that they're not good.
Yeah, so I think it's better with maybe none of it, and then even though people will say, "Oh, it's dry," but I think if you have melted cheese on it, and there's vegetables, I don't think it is dry.
Guy. I actually love sauce.
I love sauce too.
I really love sauce.
I'm a big sauce fan.
Huge sauce fan.
Okay, Mark. Here's my problem, dude.
I'm sure a lot of people are sauce fans, and I will say when this episode did come out, there was a lot of people tweeting at me and DMing me like, "Dude, I don't like sauce either, Thanks for being a
Yeah,
homie.
obviously they're
didn't think I
DMing
would
you
have to
because they're
break this.
ashamed to say it publicly because it's a bad stance.
I didn't think I would have to-
I'm here, and I'll be the one saying it.
Okay.
Here it comes.
I actually know the origin story why Caedrel doesn't like sauce.
Okay, here it comes.
Because I told him I wouldn't tell anyone, but when we were playing together, he told me he was going to school and he had a burger. And just before he took a bite, he pressed too hard and the sauce went all on his t-shirt. And it was the day he had to ask somebody to go to a prom. And she said no, because there was too much sauce on his shirt, obviously. And ever since that, he really disliked sauce.
Wow.
I never
What
knew.
a beautifully true story.
I never knew, dude.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it was rough.
If you just said it was a traumatic experience.
White shirt, yeah, all over.
Actually, it goes
But it
even
was
deeper.
only
Oh, it
ketchup.
goes even deeper, does it?
Okay.
He played the last game
Uh-huh.
before in the regular season to qualify for playoffs, Excel or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, we were against. Wait, let me remember who we were
Again,
against.
he ate a burger. Sauce dropped on his keyboard. He couldn't find the smite button. Got outsmited. Lost the game. Didn't make playoffs.
Oh, no.
It's traumatic
Mark, I
experience.
didn't
man.
know.
It's a traumatic experience. I've tried
Look,
many
dude.
things to get it out of my head.
But it
I
wasn't
didn't
ketchup,
understand.
so he
Thanks.
likes ketchup.
But it wasn't ketchup.
Thanks,
Okay.
thanks for the beautiful story.
Yeah, that was... Honestly, this is the insight that I never... I can't believe you never shared this story. It's so
Me neither.
it's-
Me neither. It
it's-
just must have gone over my head.
You know, you forgot.
Upset knows me well, I guess.
This is... Yeah, I kind of lost it. That was a great
We
story.
went to the same school together.
when you guys were going to school together.
Yes.
Yeah, we went
When
to
it
the same
was
school
Jenny
together.
Hastings, you're going to ask out to the
Yeah,
prom.
Jenny. Do you remember Jenny?
Jenny,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
of
Jenny's
course,
great.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we go way
That was
back.
great, yeah.
My fondest memory of upset, actually. But this is actually a true story.
What are you talking about? They were all true.
No, yeah, they're all true. But this is even a truer story.
Okay,
Oh,
true.
no.
We're in
But
the
I shared a fake story. It's not fair. Now he's going to share a real story. Okay.
We were in the Schalke house. Well, yeah, the Schalke gaming house, and
Yeah.
the Kog'Maw skin just came out, Pugmore.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just playing solo queue, and Upset was really excited about getting the skin. And then every time you auto attack on Pugmore, it's like a.
That is a true story.
So I'm actually playing, and all I can hear is him going every auto attack, every auto space going. And he's like 20-0 on Kog'Maw, just one shot everyone is going. This was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was a great day.
Yeah.
That skin is an abomination, but good on you. If you're
Yeah.
willing to rough when you play the Pugmaw, I can't say anything about
I
it.
mean, it's the pro gaming life.
Yeah, you got to commit. It's the little things that make the difference. You know, the sauce on the keyboard, whether or not you're roughing when you play the
You know, did you know he
skin.
almost became a professional skateboarder as well in Schalke?
What?
Bought a skateboard.
I
and
can't
Don't you
keep
remember
up anymore. What is the
you bought a
truth?
you were skateboarding around the stadium, don't you remember?
I don't even know if that's true, but
What?
probably is.
Yeah.
Probably.
We almost became rock stars,
All right.
skateboarders.
All right.
Actually, yeah.
Here's
This
this
is for another podcast.
for another
Yeah.
podcast, another time. People have asked for it often. That's your sauce stance is stupid. I
Dude,
think.
you guys, what was the conclusion of this argument supposed to be?
No, the conclusion of this argument is you're wrong. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
Actually, people that like argue in an irrational way upset me. So
There you
it
go.
was kind of on topic. It was an example of Caedrel making really bad points.
you think
and
my
it
points
was-
are irrational?
Okay, no. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You
It's
went
just
one-
an opinion.
You have no consistent.
It's not even
But you don't even know your own
ketchup
opinion.
is a sauce, and then
The
you say
more-
ketchup is
the-
a sauce,
the
and
more
then you
we
say
ask
it's like
you
too common.
questions,
It doesn't
Ketchup
make
is a
sense.
condiment.
The less. What is a condiment?
Do you like fish? On fish?
When you go to Subway, what sauce do you get? What sauce?
All of them suck.
Okay, this is what I'll say. I would not care about your even poorly formed sauce stance.
Okay.
Except you're not like, when I go to eat Wagyu beef, I don't want anything touching it. I want the essence of the meat. You're like, when I go to eat Subway, I want to taste the Subway meat. What is wrong? This stuff is trash.
Man, you know when you go to McDonald's and you get a really good burger and they put sauce on it?
This is really this is
I
high
don't know where
quality.
this argument's
This
going anymore.
steakhouse burger that you can get at McDonald's for €7. I want to taste the meat.
I never
it goes
taste the
from
meat, dude.
freezer to the grill to my mouth. I don't want anything else touching
No.
it.
It goes way beyond just the meat. You know, the freshness of the vegetables. the medium rare
Pull that
steak.
shit out of the fridge and put it
I
in a
need
bucket and
somebody
it
to
sits
send
there all
pictures
day.
of
But you guys are
of
talking
McDonald's
about
vegetables.
McDonald's.
Or Subway. That's the same
No,
thing.
Subway's pretty fresh. It says
from
It's
the-
in their
he's from the
slogan.
UK.
It's-
He's from the UK.
I'm from America. It's part of the indoctrination.
Maybe
you have
it's
to
because
unlearn it when you leave the country.
I'm not going to use this point to defend myself, but maybe it's because I grew up in a British culture where
school?
in school
It was Jenny Hastings. She said
Jenny
flavor's
Hastings,
bad.
where our food culture spans from sausages to baked beans, and that's
true.
about it.
Sausages.
God's sakes.
So you do like sauce.
So you do like sauce.
Okay.
I like the sages of the sauce.
I'm gonna have to cut it. I have to cut it here. That was wonderful. If you feel like your questions are unanswered, let us know. We can do a part 2 at some other point in the future.
So basically, that's why
Maybe we should
Fnatic is
have.
the best
Maybe
team.
we should
That's why
have.
Fnatic is
Maybe
the
we
best
should
team.
have a segment where we have loads of different sauces and we have sauce tastes.
Bro, I did this with spicy sauce.
Yeah, we tried to
We
emulate
did it
it.
with spicy sauce as
But
well.
did you really go spicy?
No,
Pete
it was
gave
not
us,
as spicy as the sauce that you
I
guys
nearly
had.
died.
Yeah, you nearly died. It was very hot, but it was not as bad as the one that you had. The one that you
You're-
had was
you're
Was
like,
it like 11 million Scoville or something?
ours was like
How-
2 million
why-
or something. It was
why
like,
did
That
you-
was like level 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. I signed a contract with Fnatic.
Pete,
We do content,
Pete
and
is a
he kills
sadist.
me.
Pete is a sadist.
there's
Pete
something
for
wrong with
sure is
Pete.
trying to kill you slowly but surely.
How was that day? The rest of the day?
A lot of... I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was it's bad in, worse out, as they say. This week coming up, we have an exciting set of matches. I could talk to you about Rogue Astralis or SKXL,
Exciting.
but G2 Fnatic is what gets me going.
Oh.
Ooh, talk to me about G2 Fnatic. You mentioned it earlier in the thing. You're not scared of G2 anymore. I'm trying to build the narrative. This is my
Is that the
narrative
quote
voice.
we're going to have on the lower third?
I'm not scared
I'm not scared anymore.
There it is. That's it. I'm not scared.
I'm not scared of the dark.
I'm not that shameless, but I would totally put that quote on a lower third to run in game.
No, like I said, I think G2 actually has been playing well, and how they play early game, even though their laning wasn't that great, I think how their support jungle have been playing around mid a lot, has been improving week by week. I think you can see that. I think their solo lanes are really good on the OP champs as well, like when Vego, of course, they didn't get nerfed.
Right.
That's pretty funny stuff, but that's fine.
To quote Jeevan, by the way, it was my favorite. Jeevan, the new Mark Yetter. He said, "Yeah, guys, we're not nerfing Gwen because while she's really strong in the LEC and the LCS, in the eastern regions, she's just not that good."
Mhm.
So I think he just called us all bad.
I mean, the thing
Did he
is,
say that?
Yeah, he's like, she's fine. She's fine in the eastern regions. So like, we're gonna wait till we're gonna
Just
hold
get
off
as
a
good
little
as
bit.
them and we'll see how OP your champ is. Noobs.
That's not what he said word for word, but that's what it felt like to me. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting the vibe of.
and
Wow.
what was the excuse for Vego? Because this champ.
Okay, that one I didn't look. I
Yeah.
just got the Gwen one.
No, I mean, it's fine.
You
the
guys
thing is-
play a lot of Viego. You know?
Yeah, we like it.
Actually, nerfing Viego would hurt you a tiny bit, right? You play it in jungle every now and then.
Bwipo's champion, you don't even know. You don't even know what's
It's
going
in
on.
the Atlantic.
It's nutty. But Gwen is not so good with Caps because he has no hair now, so it's not so scary. But anyway, G2's early game has been better.
That's what Karina said. She was like, did Caps pick Gwen? And then she accidentally chopped his hair off.
No, bro, come on.
That was
Okay.
her joke.
Okay,
It was a good one.
G2.
Podcast about
G2
League of Legends.
esports.
Analysis, yeah.
Okay,
G2
analysis.
Esports Gaming, yeah.
No, I think the early game has been pretty good, but I think our laning phase has also been pretty solid. I think we are really good at team fighting. So I think we are favored to win, but it's pretty close. I think the G2 really bounced back last week. Will be a lot about the strategy. Like last time we played, it was pretty crazy draft with like a lot of bounce, and they had like something very spicy prepared, which didn't work out at all.
Pantheon.
So it's a best of one. A lot of things can happen, but I'm definitely very excited, and I feel pretty confident in my team right now because everyone has been putting in a lot of effort, and I always feel super confident playing laning phase with Hilly versus anyone. So I think it's going to be a great game.
The best thing I saw was that 3-minute video of Hylissang not listening to his teammates. Did
What?
you not see it on Reddit?
This was amazing. I
This
watched
was
it.
the amazing video. It's like even he was in it like, oh, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. Boom.
Yeah, if he sees it, he sees it.
And then there's the famous one, I think it was against Top Esports, where Selfmate's like, let's not contest Drake, guys. Everyone's like, guys, don't fight Drake. And he's walking Drake like, okay, I'm going to contest it. And there's 5 members of Top Esports right in front of him. His whole team's farming. And he's like, guys, I'm going to contest it. It's like,
This
no,
guy
no,
is
back off.
hinting, he has no flash.
Guys, they're hinting. They have no flash. And
Like
then
it's
they're
just a Brome standing there, like looking at 5 people while they're doing Drake.
Yeah.
Everyone is farming, and
then
he's
he's-
like, Selfie's like, please, man, it's not even soul point. We outscale. They're really strong right now. Look at all the items. Like a 1 minute
And he's
conversation.
like, yeah, but this guy has no flash, man. Can we contest it? And then eventually he's like, fine, let's scale. And he walked off. Yeah. And that went on for 3 minutes. I'll send it to you. It's a beautiful video.
All
it's
right.
a beautiful montage. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching it. Thank you, Upset, for joining us. You
Thank you for having me.
You're a wonderful guest. Thank you for the stats and sauce insight. Caedrel, your stance sucks, but you are entitled to your own opinion.
Yep.
Even if it lacks consistency.
Yeah, so does the sauce. Not enough consistency.
No, that was your
in the
complaint,
texture.
is that it had a specific... whatever. We're done. All right, this has been EUphoria, Season 8, Episode 6. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck to you in your match versus G2 this weekend. I assume it's our match of the week.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What was this?
That was... If someone wants to edit a rainbow between my two hands that says match of the week, you could do that, but no pressure. And a sound effect would be cool. Match of the week. Look forward to it. That's on Saturday. It's the final game of the day.
4 times now. I think they've got enough editing time.
Goodbye.
Oh, 5.
This has been Season 8, Episode 6. We'll see you guys next week.